Hello and welcome to the Gaming Mix podcast, your mix for all things gaming. I'm Jeff Young from Analog Stick Gaming. This is the official podcast for Analog Stick Gaming. As you can see, Jordan is away this week. However, I would like to introduce my co-host for today, Keith Mitchell from the Outerhaven.net. How are you doing, sir?
What is up, everybody? And I am doing great today, actually. Today's been a good day so far. And we're one more day away from seeing Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I am super excited. I got my tickets. I am pretty much all good to go.
I can't wait.
Just kind of waiting for that time to be over for work tomorrow and I can go see it.
And spend an arm and a leg on that popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
The popcorn buckets have been kind of like the go-to collectible now for a lot of theater stuff. Because, like, I remember when the 3D glasses were pretty much like the big collectible. Because I've got like 40 of those. But yeah, no, I mean, I know people were freaking out about the Dune popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I couldn't find one of those. They were gone. I was hunting everywhere for the ghost trap for the Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
I finally found one of those, but I'm looking online. I was looking online yesterday at these people that have got access to the popcorn buckets early, and they're online. They're like 60, 70, 90. I'm like, I'm not paying you that much money for a popcorn bucket. Sorry.
Well, our theater, we used to have like the cups as well. And the stupid thing is, and I can't remember what movie it was, but I had gone opening night, and they're like, yeah, we already sold out of the cups. And I'm like, how were you already sold out of the cups? So, well, we had them for sale for like the last like 4 or 5 days. And I'm like, the movie just came out. Wouldn't it be good to have the cups, when the movie actually is there? But no, they just sold them all. But I don't know. My favorite collectible I've got at the theater was the Fast and Furious cup. It basically was like this like long cylinder, and it had like tire caps and then the straw. So it literally looked like I don't know, it was neat. And like honestly, like it can hold like almost like, I don't know if you were ever like Peace Tea. It can hold almost 2 of those. And it was just my favorite cup. It's just unbelievably
when did this shift happen to popcorn and movie theater items becoming the de facto collector's item now? Like, that wasn't a thing years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the cups have been like, I ended up chucking a whole bunch of them just because like we were moving and just need the space and stuff. But I've kept some of them. But I probably had like 80 cups, everything from like Lord of the Rings to like Cowboys and Aliens to like, Transformers and all the Marvel cups and stuff. Like I mean, it could just be regional because like this was all like through Cinemax, or not Cinemax, Cineplex in Canada. So I don't know if it's just like the States don't have those types of things or anything.
Well, we got a lot of like Cinemark, AMC, Regal. They're all doing something, which is frustrating because they're all doing something different. Like, for example, for Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, one of them has the one that everybody wants. Another one has something that's not as cool, but still nice. And the other one is just doing the taxi cab. So it's like, you're all doing something different. And it's like, could you all just do the same thing? So we don't have to, like, for example, I like going to Regal because Regal's up the street. Now, if I want to have a chance for the other one, I got to go to AMC, and the closest AMC is like 20, 25 miles away from me. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Okay, I guess. Do you really want it that much? Is it that much of a priority for me? I think for this movie for right now, and just because everybody won't shut up about it, it's like, yeah, I kind of want it. And then I'll discard it like a couple months later. Oh, it was cool. Now I don't care.
I remember reaching out to even like Cineplex on Twitter, be like, hey, do you guys have these cups or whatever in this particular region? They're like, no, we only have them in like Vancouver or Toronto or whatever the case was. But I think it just comes down to each theater has a different supply chain for how that stuff works. So they have different contracts. So that's why they don't share a lot of the same things.
It still doesn't. It's, for lack of a better word, it sucks for people who collect these things.
Yeah. But I think it comes down also to like they want something to drive people to them. So if they have something that's exclusive,
Right.
it kind of works in that way. It's
There's that
advertising for
word
them.
again. Exclusive. There we go. Exclusive
Pretty much.
drive sales.
Did you check? So today's episode is going to be largely Evo focused. How much of Evo did you watch?
I only watched the Street Fighter and the Guilty Gear.
Yeah,
but mainly the Street Fighter. Oh, that Street Fighter tournament was so good. Oh my god.
yeah.
That was
I
good.
like honestly like what is it? Big Bird and Punk going at it in the final, and that like Punk's going to be on the thumbnail for today's episode. But yeah, that fight was amazing, and the fact that I went to like the last round of the last fight, like everything, like it wasn't like a clean sweep, like
The fact that Big Bird came back and reset the bracket, and it was like, Punk, what are you doing?
Mhm. Yeah, it was actually really really enjoyable too watching it. Like I was watching all of my Evo stuff through sorry, my hair is just like bugging me.
Sweating it out today.
Oh, I know. No, I was watching all my stuff from Evo through Maximilian Dude's stream because he was there on location for 2 days and like
I saw. Have you seen the memes?
Yeah.
For
yeah,
he had that
really...
whole room for himself at the very beginning. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was neat because he had like the devs from was it 2XKO there to talk about their League of Legends fighter. I'm repping League of Legends here. And like that was interesting. Like it was extremely well executed, and I think he said the only thing that he's going to change like next year is to have somebody handling all the tech because he was essentially doing everything as well as the hosting and stuff. And he had some guests there, like Susie Spearhunter was there, Xavier Woods was there as well too, bunch of people and stuff, and it was super entertaining to watch. And then him and Yo Video Games were on this stage at the end for the last day for all the fights and stuff.
I completely missed the Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I know they were playing it, the collection. I completely missed that.
Yeah, because they could only show certain parts of it.
Yeah, because Capcom doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
well, they were saying that like a lot of the stuff that that they couldn't show wasn't complete yet because like the game is still like a little ways off.
That's I don't think we have a date to it yet.
No, there was no release date or anything. They were only allowed to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's the only thing that they were allowed to touch.
Still, and, it's interesting though, just because Marvel is back, so to speak. So it's good to see that is finally a thing after all these years of asking Capcom, "Hey, bring it back." And it's oddly specific that it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that seems to be the favorite, even though I thought 3 had eventually surpassed 2. But everybody just wants 2.
Yeah, I don't know. 2, like, we'll get down to some of our favorite fighting games later on. But 2, to me, I like it way better than 3. And I think it just comes down to, like, kind of like the 2D nature of it, even though it has, like, 3D backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. Plus the music. And, 2 wasn't beloved at all when it first came out. A lot of people really didn't like it. But, yeah, 3 is still extremely, extremely good. But no, it was Evo was great. Like watching, like, yeah, that Street Fighter fight was great. The Tekken one wasn't amazing. I think just the final wasn't great. But yeah, no, the Street Fighter one was just absolutely entertaining to watch. And like Cammy's like one of my absolute favorite characters. I mean, Cammy was Punk's character. So that was excellent to see there.
And it was also nice to see the one he didn't break character. He stayed with Cammy, who he's been using for quite some time now. And Cammy is not a top tier character.
No.
So to see him play at that level with Cammy, it's just. Now, before we go any further, I definitely do want to say that a lot of people were like, we don't like Punk because Punk is a trash talker. And come on, guys, that's when you're competing against someone, you're going to talk trash. A lot of people talk trash. It's just it is what it is. I mean, every professional sport has somebody who talks trash. I mean, if you want to go back any further, we can look at Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley. They all talked major trash, and everybody loved them. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Yeah, like I don't follow many or any really of the FTC crew and stuff like that. Like my only experience with following any of them really is like Justin Wong through a lot of like the TKO podcast or whatever and that kind of stuff. But I don't participate in watching a lot of that kind of stuff or even any of the streamers.
Yeah, I mentioned that the other day. I don't really watch a lot of the FGC on stream. I just there's something about fighting games that I don't play them as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Because I've moved on to do other things. But when I watch an event like EVO or something, I just want to. It gets your blood pumping, and you want to play the game again. And then you go realize, okay, I can't play at this level, or I don't have the commitment to play at this level. But I definitely love watching somebody do it.
Yeah, especially when you see kind of like, high level play is pretty intense, especially with how they
Oh yeah,
really know how to like manage their meters and stuff like that. Because like even in
yeah.
that last fight, like they were burning out like crazy, which is a mechanic in Street Fighter 6. Not
That
that they were burning out.
and the drive impact. It was just when am I going to do it? How it's just man, it's just a lot of stuff. And it's great. Again, high level gameplay is just amazing to see. And if you guys have not watched Evo, please go watch the VODs. Oh, great. Not just Street Fighter. Guilty Gear was great as well. Guilty Gear, I like the Tekken just because, well, I play a lot of Tekken, but I also like to see the fact that Nina was in the grand finals. I was like, hey, that's my character right there. There we go. It's not all the time you see a lot of you don't see a lot of Ninas. So
Did you see that? I'm trying to remember. I don't know her name, whatever, but she was fighting Harada,
yeah.
and then she won.
and she won. And it's like, oh, Harada, you got your butt beat on your game.
Yeah, it was neat, and it was cool because like she did that kind of like almost like winky face kind of like tea drinking like special, and then that's what ended it. It was just a very kind of cheeky move.
And now he's on Twitter saying, I want a rematch.
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic, especially seeing a creator like that. Like I don't know if I've ever seen like, like fighting games don't necessarily have a lot of like public champions essentially. Like you have Ed Boon and stuff promoting that kind of things, but Harada I feel is like the face of Tekken more so in that, Ed Boon is the face of Mortal Kombat, but I think Harada is like I think even more elevated as the face of Tekken
Because
very
he's more
public.
outspoken.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's interacting with the community. He's at events. He's always talking about something. He'll get in your face and correct you if you're wrong. He's just out there. He's and everybody knows who he is and what he does.
Yeah.
And he's not always strictly business. He does a podcast. He talks other things. He interacts with people. So that's why he's so well liked.
Yeah. Yeah, and he did a really nice Twitter message about like how Soul Calibur like just isn't in the cards right now and why it's not in the cards.
Soul Calibur's never coming back. People just need to give up. It's just,
Yeah.
They tried it again. They literally tried it again, and it just.
And it was literally like one of the best Soul Caliburs like since the first one.
I'm still partial to 2.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Alrighty.
Soul Calibur, I don't know why people just don't gravitate to that game anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm not too sure exactly. I mean, they've had a couple bad entries, like not horrifically bad. I think 4 was the only one that was, I think, considered like to be an absolute failure.
3,
or maybe it could be 3.
Yeah. 3. Yeah. I think every time you mention 3, people they get frustrated. Like 3, don't mention that game to me ever again. Like, okay.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, we're going to jump into some news here. We have a couple non-EVO kind of focused things that I wanted to mention as well today. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is officially coming to Game Pass today. Microsoft announced that on Tuesday that Activision's shooter will join the subscription service on July 24th. It would be available through Game Pass for console, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass Ultimate. Modern Warfare 3 will be the first Call of Duty to join Game Pass, while Black Ops 6 will be the first Call of Duty title to launch on the subscription service on day one when it's released on October 25th. Are you a Call of Duty fan at all, or?
I haven't been a Call of Duty fan in quite some time. I know of the game. I respect it. I used to play it back in the day when it was a PC only title before it made the jump to the consoles. And I played the first one, the second one. I played a lot of Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. And Black Ops. Black Ops was fun. The first Black Ops was fun. So I don't really play it that much because unfortunately the series has moved more from a single player with co-op being the secondary to co-op, or the online portion being the main portion, and then the single player is an afterthought. But they're saying that the next Call of Duty, the one that's coming, is they're going to go back to how things used to be. So I'm really hoping that's the case. I may give the new one a try, but now that Modern Warfare 3 is on Game Pass, I actually think I own that. Let me check my PC here. I've owned quite a few actually. So
yeah, like this was the last the one that I haven't bought. I bought pretty much all the other ones, but just when I heard the campaign was only like 3.5 hours or whatever, I just couldn't justify.
And see, that's like my problem. Then that's my problem.
So I'm gonna try the campaign at least for this, and see if any of my online friends are up for like playing some of the zombies, because that stuff's always been
zombies is amazing. The zombies, if they would make a Call of Duty Black or Call of Duty Zombies game and just make it a separate game by itself, no online portion or no PvP, just zombies.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That would sell because people love zombies. There hasn't been an entry of the zombies that nobody liked. They're all fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I honestly like it kind of lives like rent free in my head almost. But even like when you had like the SMGs and Sarah Michelle Gellar was on there and she's like, "That's me, SMG." Like that was like one of my absolute favorite zombie experiences. That one was just so fun.
But you knew this was coming. I mean, eventually a Call of Duty was going to hit the Game Pass. And of course, this is just the first opening silo of the games coming to Game Pass. Eventually, all of these are going to be there, which just justifies Activision being purchased or acquired by Xbox, Microsoft, the two, whatever you want to say. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many people actually jump on the Game Pass, or how many people come to Game Pass because of this. Even though this is an older game.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. Like, you know, they timed it with this the upcoming season that starts today, so that's why they just didn't drop all of them, because they want that focus on Modern Warfare 3 to kind of fuel that season until the next one comes out. But no, we'll see how that goes there. Alrighty, let's see here. Arrowhead Games Studios has announced that Helldivers 2, their biggest update yet, will be released next month. Titled Escalation of Freedom, it promises larger enemy outposts, new bots, returning bugs, fresh mission objectives, and a new difficulty level, combat rating 10. Ahead of its release on August 6th, the update is also detailed in a PlayStation blog by Arrowhead social media and community manager Catherine Baskin. Combat rating 10, Super Helldive, is our most challenging, most relentless dive difficulty level yet, and we hope that this is going to give players the intensity they're looking for on the battlefield, and with a great challenge comes greater rewards, Baskin said. But a new difficulty level isn't the only thing the community wanted. We've also heard your desire for mission variation, which is why we're bringing you new mission objectives and bigger enemy outposts for both bots and bugs that offer brand new super sample rewards. These outposts will be heavily fortified and require players to coordinate and strategize in order to take them out. And if you're new to Helldivers 2, you don't have to worry about missing out on all the fun until you unlock Super Helldive, because many of our new mission objectives will be playable on other difficulty levels. So you played Helldivers 2, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what does this update do for you?
Nothing.
No?
Absolutely nothing. I actually talked about this on the Spectrum podcast the other day. Here's my beef with this. Great, you're adding more difficulty. You're adding bigger and better bots and bigger and better bugs. And you're changing up the outposts. Fantastic. But what we've been asking for is a new race. new aliens to go after. Okay, great. We're still going after bots. We're still going after the bugs. Where's that new alien thing that you kept teasing or people kept speculating that eventually would be coming to the game?
Okay, so they have some type of like lore built up for like another race coming
Yeah,
out.
if you played the first game,
Okay,
you would see them connecting the dots, and that's the problem. People are like, well, where's this other race? And they're not there yet. And people are like, all right, well, fine. So I think that's why people have dropped off of playing this game, given the fact that okay, it's so much the same, but where's the new stuff? So
it's just kind of like not too little, too late, but just like the content's just not coming fast enough.
yeah, so there's a third faction in the game, the Illuminite.
Okay.
Which are basically aliens or like they like some kind of psychic abilities and psychic and technology based. And we've been waiting for these to come. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting for them. Nothing has been stated, nothing has been mentioned. But if you played Helldivers 1, you would know about them. So where are they? What's going on here? And people have been data mining the game and finding bits and pieces about this that they may be coming to the game.
Okay.
But this is what people are waiting on. And we fought them constantly in Helldivers 1. So what exactly is going on? And this is just me speculating, but I feel this is a lot of reasons why people are like, okay, great, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, we've done that. Where is this other race? Now, I think they said there might be some more surprises in this update, and that's my frustration. If you're hiding this race within this update, just come out and say, hey, and the new race may make an appearance. Okay, I'm good. Let's go. I'm happy. Yeah. Maybe they're in there, maybe they're not.
You're just hoping word of mouth essentially kind of passes that out if it happens.
Right, but don't just go, oh, there's more surprises. Okay, what surprises?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to expect here? Just give me a shadow of a doubt. They might be here. Okay, that's more than enough. They might be there. Yeah. So if they're not there, I'm not going to be disappointed because, okay, you said might. But you just saying there's more surprises. I mean, oh, you might find new artillery or a better gun or more cosmetic things. Okay, well, it's not really a surprise.
I wonder if they'll like release like a bunch of like artwork with like shadowy figures looming overhead or something like that, and then
or the news posts, the news shows that are in the game and they talk about things and you hear them and you might say, oh, hey, look, that's that thing from the first game. I see it right there. Like we see this, we know what's happening, or they're slowly dropping it, like what Destiny would do. Drop subtle hints that something is coming on the horizon.
Yeah.
So, and this game definitely needs, because it's a live service game. It definitely needs that kick in the pants to get people to start playing it more. I think the last time I checked, it was like 10,000 people playing it right now. So it dropped considerably from what it was.
Yeah, before. I was seeing the drop, like in terms of like kind of what its peak was and what it's kind of sitting now. And
we're tired. We're tired of waiting. We want to see new stuff, and obviously we know you can't just rush this stuff. But at the same time, this game's been out for a while. It's time to give people what they want.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be jumping into a lot of our EVO news now here. This is stuff that basically dropped throughout the event. Guilty Gear Strive is adding Lucy from Cyberpunk Edgerunners to the game next year. Following an earlier leak of the trailer, developer Arc System Works confirmed at EVO 2024 that the guest character will be added to the fighter next year. Season 4's fighters will include Guilty Gear X veteran Dizzy, who is currently planned for October, Venom, not the Spider-Man type, who first appeared in Guilty Gear X, is planned for next year, and is Unique, I'm not sure how the name is pronounced, a new character. Cyberpunk Edgerunners was released in September 21 and was a hit for both the streaming platform and CD Projekt, which saw a huge increase in sales of Cyberpunk 2077 on the back of the anime's popularity. Have you played, was it Guilty Gear Strive?
Yeah. I don't play it as much anymore, but I played it a lot. I was trying to learn a couple characters, and it's like, But then
Yeah,
again, like I said, my whole fighting game ambition isn't there anymore. But it is interesting to see that they're bringing over Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's interesting to say the least. I would probably pick other characters, but she's not a bad character to put in there
yeah, and it's the her first appearance, I think, pretty much like
anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's neat having like a character that you can't get anywhere. Because like I played a little bit of Strive, if I'm thinking correctly, when it hit Game Pass, if that's the one that I'm thinking of, and their games have always been absolutely gorgeous. Like Arc System Works just is a technical dream team when it comes to like those types of fighting games.
I would have loved to see Maine instead. No, he would have been interesting to see. I think he
Yeah.
would have fit a little better.
Which character is that? Sorry.
Maine from Edge Runners.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I only watched I think 2 episodes.
Oh, that was such a great series. So good.
Yeah.
It
I
really
do
was.
have to eventually finish it. I mean, hell, I haven't watched X-Men '97 yet. I got to get on that.
Oh, what? Come on, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on. Yeah. You're missing
No,
out on a masterpiece.
I will
Masterpiece right there.
eventually get to it. I'll probably end up watching it probably this weekend, just because all the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff. Alrighty.
I definitely want to see Lucy in action though.
Yeah.
You
Like
teased
once they
her.
actually
She's
show
coming.
gameplay.
Fantastic. Show me the gameplay.
Yeah, that will definitely be interesting to see. All right. Capcom has shown off footage of Terry Bogard in Street Fighter 6. The teaser trailer for the guest character was shown off as part of EVO 2024. Terry can be purchased individually with fighter coins or as part of the overall character pass. Terry is currently planned for autumn of 2024. Terry is the second character in Street Fighter 6's second year of content. He'll be joined by Mai, also from Fatal Fury, and Elena, a Street Fighter veteran. Terry is planned to be released in autumn 2024, with Elena then in spring 2025, and Mai it will arrive in winter of 2025. The Fatal Fury fighter previously appeared as a guest character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but has never appeared in the Street Fighter series, and neither has Mai. And that's mainly because like Street Fighter has never had guest characters in their main game. It's always been the Versus series that has had that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, like Terry is, I think, a character of a lot of people have kind of wanted to see interact with Capcom again, because I mean, you know, SNK versus Capcom is wildly popular, and they just dropped another game, which we'll be talking about shortly.
This is actually great for me because when I played Fatal Fury, it was always Terry and Mai as my characters, and it's just if you know the Capcom SNK history, you know that Terry Bogard is pretty much a clone, a copy of a Ryu and Ken that seems to be more along the lines of Ken as he progressed, and Mai was made to go against Chun-Li. So it's now we're going to have Ken and Terry and Chun-Li and Mai, and it's like this has finally happened, folks. We're finally getting them fight each other. And I've already seen some artwork with them. I mean, we've always seen artwork with Mai and Chun-Li being against each other, posing against each other. That's just always been a thing. But having Terry and Ken and Ryu in the same game that you can pick and fight against each other, that's going to be fun. I think I'll just pick him just to play with him because I've always loved Terry Bogard. Always loved him. Though I would love to see Andy as well, but that's still good.
Yeah, if you check the the latest worst fighting game through Matt McMuscles, when he talks about the very first Street Fighter game, he talks about how Terry kind of came from the design of that game, and then the creator leaving, and then essentially creating, you know, that roster. So it's pretty interesting. Alrighty, let's see here. Heihachi Mishima is coming to Tekken 8. Revealed at EVO 2024, the iconic Tekken character will come to the game in autumn of 2024. Heihachi is the third DLC character for Tekken 8, following Eddie Gordo and Lydia Sobieska. Speaking to IGN following the announcement, Tekken boss Harada had said Tekken 7 really focused on the story arc between Heihachi and his son Kazuha. And so we really wanted to show that kind of final conclusion, and he seemed to die at that point. But then, after that happened, Tekken 8 was released, and we put a lot of effort into the story, and the fans really seemed to be engaged with that. And as that was happening, we were kind of feeling that the players kind of missed him as well. Obviously, we did too, so it was kind of decided later on that we would do that. So, what do you think about Heihachi defying death yet again?
You really want to know what I think about this?
Go for it.
Okay. One, this is a cop out.
Yeah.
Beginning of Tekken 8, you said that he was dead and he's not coming back, Harada. You told everybody he was not coming back. And of course, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is BS because this is Tekken and Heihachi is Tekken. There's no getting around that. There are so many people who love either Kazuya or they love Heihachi. 2, when the hell is ever a Tekken character being tossed into a volcano or lava ever work? It's like Volcano. You had one job, and you couldn't even do that.
No.
So it was just a matter of time when it was happening. And they're copying to a T Street Fighter. Hey, Bison's dead. Bison's not coming back. Bison's now DLC. Oh, okay. Heihachi's dead. He's not coming back. Heihachi's now DLC.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same thing. Like they finally put Street Fighter in a place that was after the timeline with Bison dying, and then they essentially bring him back as well. It just seemed to be the exact same move where they're like, yeah, Bison's dead, and then all of a sudden he just shows up in a DLC trailer.
So we got Harada bringing back Heihachi. We've got Kazuya. We've got illegitimate kids. We've got half kids. We've got true kids. It's like, how many siblings do we have in Tekken? And now we bringing back dad.
And only one of them has the devil gene now too, like the daughter. Because the other, Jin and Kazuha pretty much burnt that out.
It's not gone. It's not gone. It's coming. It'll be part of the storyline, and they'll all have their devil genes. It's
yeah.
I think they're going for that, really shock value storyline this time. It's like they're copying Street Fighter, they're copying Mortal Kombat. It's like, sure, but everybody's happy. If you didn't see the pop off when he was revealed, everybody was going ballistic. That Heihachi is back, and you knew he was coming.
Oh,
you knew he was coming.
When Maximum Dude and stuff, when they were on stage doing that, it was just hilarious. Everybody was just freaking out.
You couldn't keep Heihachi. You couldn't keep him dead. So it was just also and I'm gonna shut up after this. Like, they walked off the stage and oh wait, and we got one more thing. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, it is pretty interesting. SNK has re-released its classic fighting crossover, SNK versus Capcom SVC Chaos, for PC, Steam, Switch, and PS4, which dropped on July 22nd. SVC Chaos was originally released in arcades in 2003, with PS2 and Xbox ports arriving later. The title was never previously released for PC or Nintendo platforms. The game features a roster of 36 characters across various series from SNK and Capcom, mainly Street Fighter. This version includes new rollback netcode and tournament modes, as well as a hitbox viewer and a gallery mode featuring 89 pieces of artwork from key art, character portraits, and more. Speaking to VGC last year, the producer behind SNK's biggest fighting franchises claimed there was interest from all sides in reviving the SNK vs. Capcom series. The series hasn't seen a proper installment since 2003, partly due to SNK's bankruptcy in the early aughts, and pivoted to pachinko, or was it Pashalot machines? Pocky slot machines? Asked if he was interested in creating a new SNK versus Capcom game, producer Yasuyuki Oda definitely in the future. That's something that I think everybody on all sides in both parties are interested in making a reality. So this game kind of shadow dropped. I think everybody was expecting Marvel vs. Capcom to shadow drop, but this ended up being the game to do so, and it's cheap too. It's like $20.
Is it? I haven't paid attention to the price.
Yeah, it's like 20 US or 20 US or something like that. Um, I think it's like 28.99 or something like that Canadian. I'm not 100% too sure, but yeah, it's fairly cheap, but it is like one of the earlier ones, and it's kind of interesting that it's not on Xbox considering the original was.
What's frustrating is this was an exclusive game for Xbox, and now it's not available for Xbox Series X or S.
Yeah,
That's just
like I don't
all
know
because
if
of
this
technical
is
issues.
just Microsoft not wanting like native Xbox One versions of games out there, because like that's the same with Marvel vs. Capcom collection, because like there's
Yeah,
no PS5 version, there's a PS4 version that
right.
works, but
It's getting to the point where Microsoft needs to step in and go, okay, we will absorb the cost of what it takes to get these games moved over to these platforms. Because if we don't, we're going to see more and more fans getting frustrated. You're missing out on Capcom versus SNK. You're missing out on the Marvel Collection series. I think you missed out on another game.
yeah.
And as this continues to happen, people on Xbox are going to miss out on more and more titles, which is frustrating.
Well, they're missing out on a ton of fighting games because I mean, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, whatever, is not on Xbox. It took forever for Guilty Gear Strive to get on Xbox.
But see, those are different reasons. Those aren't technical reasons. Those were just
No,
we don't want to put it on Xbox because we don't think Xbox either has the audience or is the right platform, which is a huge slap in the face to anybody who owns an Xbox.
yeah,
It's sad. You're missing out on great games because of one reason or we'll just say politics. You're missing out on games because of politics.
yeah,
And that's not fair to people who purchase an Xbox knowing that they would get these games or great games down the road. And I was like, oh, sorry, we're going to be prejudiced against you because you have an Xbox and not a PlayStation or not a PC. Isn't
yeah,
isn't this game coming on for Switch as well?
yeah,
Even the Switch is getting the game, guys.
yeah. It's really ridiculous. Like, with the Capcom thing, we can blame the empty framework stuff, and if that is the legit reason as to what it is, but Microsoft really needs to get these games available on the platforms, especially the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, because that's going to be probably one of the better selling games of the year. I mean, people have been waiting like a very long time just to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2, let alone the entire Marvel versus series. So,
This, I mean, maybe the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game collection is not a big enough reason for Xbox to do it, but at the same time, if your fans, if the owners of Xbox are like, hey, look, we're tired of missing out on these games, and they continue to turn their back, there's going to be a point where people on Xbox are going to turn their back and go, well, maybe this isn't the platform for me if you don't care about me or the games that we want to play. I
yeah,
something needs to change.
it's
And we
definitely
all know
frustrating.
what it needs to, what needs to change. The problem is the company that knows what needs to change at this point doesn't care.
Samurai Jack will be joining the free-to-play fighting game Multiversus next week. The new trailer, which you can check out online, shows the character joining the roster on July 23rd, so that was yesterday. The conclusion of the trailer will also confirm that Beetlejuice will be added to the game this season. Voice
Oh
lines
Lord.
referencing Tim Burton's character has been in the game for several months. The Animaniacs are also referenced in the closing image of the trailer. I wonder if they would play like Ice Climbers. I wonder if that would be something like that. Samurai Jack was an animated TV series in 2001 and ran until 2004
One of
and
my
received
favorite.
a brief reboot in 2017. The show, created by Gendy Tartakovsky, was revered at the time for its storytelling and unique visual style. They're also going to be adding the rank mode, which people have been waiting for a very, very long time. And will also include the Water Tower, a new map where players can battle on the iconic Warner Brothers Water Tower. This level will feature surprise nods to popular Warner Brothers characters and franchises. Have you played any of Multiversus at all?
Oh yeah, I played the heck
Yeah.
out of it when it was first came out as a early access before they took it away.
Yeah.
I played a lot of it, and
Nice.
and I'll admit I actually spent money on it as well. And when they took the game away, I was very frustrated because the whole point of early access is to give people access to the game so they can help you make a better game.
Yeah.
And then you just went, oh, hey, we're just taking it away. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So I like what they're doing with the game. I don't trust them right now for what they've done. They need to show me that they're really committed.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it when it came out and unlocked Jason because it was like the first item that you unlocked on the free battle pass or whatever. But I haven't played too much of it. Like I played like a good chunk of it when it came out originally. I think I unlocked Wonder Woman.
Oh, I loved it. I loved playing that game.
So,
So
yeah,
we'll
no,
have to wait and see.
I mean, you got Samurai Jack now. That's in there as well too, and then Beetlejuice, and then Animaniacs are likely coming. Yeah, I mean they've got what is it? Agent Smith from Matrix dropped,
Yep.
I think.
Yep, he came as well. Yep.
So you got those guys. I mean, we'll probably end up getting Neo at some point. They probably just don't want to release 2 Matrix characters back to back.
I mean, if all the properties that they have, just dump them all in. We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to compete with Smash. Just do it.
Yeah.
Smash has a ton of guest characters in this game, so don't hold back. Just release all the characters, all of them, and maybe get some actual fighting game characters in there as well. And I shouldn't say actual fighting game characters. What I should say is speak with other developers, other companies, and try and get their characters into your game as well. Not just all WB properties. That would be fun.
Yeah, it'll be like, I think once they get to a point where they can kind of like release a good chunk, but I mean, it is WB, so they're obviously not wanting to probably spend money to acquire a lot of those characters because they're kind of like budgeting a lot of their gaming division. So I think by using characters that they already own, there's way less costs in that.
Well, I'm gonna toss in it real quick. I'm not sure if you heard before the show started, but WB purchased the developer of Multiverses.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they plan on doing with the game. But at the same time, we have Mortal Kombat characters that could be tossed into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see, like, I know, like, the obvious is probably putting in Scorpion, but I think Sub-Zero would probably be a little.
I'd rather have Sub-Zero than Scorpion.
Yeah. But no, I mean, honestly, I think that if they were to add Mortal Kombat characters into it, I think timing it around the next Mortal Kombat movie would probably be a little bit better because MK1 is already come and gone in terms of release date.
But I was told by a fighting game character or competitor that Mortal Kombat 1 is super popular, so it won't make a difference.
Yeah, but I think having like them talking about the movie because they want to promote their own movie, because it is WB. So I don't know. It's hard to say exactly, but I mean, I think they probably had certain characters timed out for certain periods, and because I mean, Mortal Kombat's release date was a little bit weird too, because they were, I think, going to delay it, but then ended up releasing it because it was in a rough spot when it first came out. As you can see, Jordan has magically appeared, or is he AI?
Or both.
I don't know yet.
He's both.
You're gonna have to prove that you're not AI, Jordan.
I'm not AI. I am actually here.
Good enough for me.
Something AI would say.
This was unexpected. I don't know how
sentient?
far you guys are into the show. Obviously, I wasn't meant to be on the show today, but you ended up recording at a slightly later time, which meant I could actually get home in a meaningful fashion and show up so that I have not yet missed an episode. Only you, Jeff, have missed an episode so far.
I have. That is on me. All right, so we'll get back into news here. We're covering a bunch of EVO news right now, Jordan. So we've covered a few little things like that.
So I turn up for the bad news, basically, is what you're saying.
Everyone's been laid off. No. All right. So we're going to go on here to say that Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising is adding Versusia and Vikala Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising's next character is Versusia. I'm never going to say that correctly. She'll join Cygames and Arc System Works fighting game based on the Grand Blue Fantasy IP on August 20th, alongside the 1.50 update. That patch will add new story episodes, a new stage, balance adjustments for the game's full roster, a new game mode called Grand Brews, and more. Cygames teased 2 other additions to the Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising roster at EVO 2024, and as Vakala, who drops in October, and Sandalafon, I think I said it right, who will arrive in the Season 2 Character Pass. Has anyone here played Rising? I've only played Relink.
A little bit of it.
Yeah? How is it? Like, it looks great.
It's night and day. It's a much better game, yes.
Yeah, because I know when it originally came out, people just didn't care for it. And then Rising seemed to be kind of like the reboot that it pretty much needed.
Yes, it fixed a lot of issues, yes.
Yeah, because I'm only seeing little bits and pieces of like Maximilian Dude playing. Because like when, what's her name? 2B had come out.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
2B's my girl, and she's broken.
Yeah, no, she looked actually like really neat, and then he did like the variation without the skirt, and he was just like, "Whoa, I'm gonna have to
it's my
put an age
now.
rating on this gameplay here." But no, it actually looks really good. Like I wouldn't mind actually checking it out, but all things cost money, and I have very little of it.
Jeff, can I just say, do you have like a ghost in your house? Because that poster behind you keeps moving, and it's really weird.
It's a wall scroll. It's a wall scroll. So either that or the artist of Ghost in the Shell is haunting my house. Could be both. All right. Let's take a look here. King of Fighters 15 is adding Mature and Vice. King of Fighters veterans Vice and Mature will come to the King of Fighters 15 this December. Developers from SNK announced at EVO 2024. They'll sport their classic looks and be available as standalone fighters, not as some sort of 2-in-1 deal. Mature made her debut in King of Fighters 94. Vice followed a year later, debuting in the King of Fighters 95. The duo will get a simultaneously release at the end of this year. I played a good chunk of King of Fighters 15. I had reviewed it, and it was quite good. I haven't tried any of the DLC, though.
So, this is my confession. As someone who does like fighting games, but is very much a casual, I have never played a King of Fighters game. Ever.
No.
How old are you again, Jordan?
How old am I? I will be 31 this year.
There's no excuse for you then. I was waiting to see if you were younger, but King of Fighters was around when you were younger.
Yeah. Yes, it
no
was.
Excuse. No excuse.
I mean,
yeah,
I was
a really
Soul Calibur person and a Tekken and a Mortal Kombat and a bit of Street Fighter here and there. Street Fighter 2, one of the best games ever. But,
that's something an AI would say. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I think we're still dealing with AI, Jordan. But no, the new King of Fighters is really good. I mean, it did reuse I think some stuff from the previous one as well too. I know a lot of people were kind of upset that it played a little too similar, but I think it's just because SNK doesn't really have like a massive budget to create these like games completely from scratch, which is why I'm like,
they have a budget. You know who they're working with. They have
budget. I think before, but I mean like right now because they've got like City of Wolves coming out that looks fantastic. But
yeah,
I don't know. And I'm not interested, I think, in these characters and stuff like that because like I haven't touched any of the DLC because like King of Fighters, like I like a few characters, mostly from like the Fatal Fury stuff. Like Mai is like probably my favorite character from that. I literally have a statue of Mai.
Yeah, I was going to wait for that statue to be mentioned.
Were you disappointed when King of Fighters 15 came out and they weren't in the game because they were mainstays in most of the King of Fighter games?
Well, King of Fighters 15 because Mai's in that. Like she was.
Sure, is it?
No, I don't even know who those characters are. Like I'm not a big King of Fighters or like fan or anything like that. Like I know some of the stapled characters, but mostly the people from like Fatal Fury, like Terry Bogard and Mai, and a few characters like Geese Howard. That's his name.
East Howard.
But yeah, like I know like some characters and stuff, but Mai's the only one
seemed
that's
very disapproving. Then what's wrong, Keith?
No. It's just that it's okay. So Mature and Vice were like they're old school King of Fighters characters, and they were in like 94, 95, 96.
Yeah.
I think 97. But then they were in 14, King of Fighters 14, and then hey, 15's here, and where are they?
It'll probably be I wonder if it's the same models, because I know a lot of the 14 models made it into 15.
That would suck, because at the same time it would be okay if they're the same models. Why didn't you just bring them out from the get-go? Other than adding a bunch of new characters, which we understand, but why didn't you bring them out as well?
Probably just have kind of like low-cost DLC characters to make money. Less money you got to spend, the more money you make.
Yeah.
Keith is just shaking his head in disapproval.
Yeah.
All right.
But they're here, so we'll be here. We'll be here.
Speaking of Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves adds Kevin Ryan to the roster. SWAT officer Kevin Ryan joins the roster for next year's Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Kevin made his debut in Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and just as he did in that game, he'll use explosive attacks to defeat his opponents. In fact, we see Kevin about to use an explosive round to power up a punch to Terry Bogart's face. The Fatal Fury City of Wolves roster has now had 9 confirmed characters, with Rock Howard, Terry Bogart, B, Janet, Marco Rodriguez, Preacha, Hotaru Futaba, Vox Reaper, and Tizok joining Kevin. SNK's fighting game is going to be released in early 2025 for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X, which is where I will be playing.
A fighting game that's actually releasing on Xbox.
And what an SNK one.
Oh, he's coming in late here. Yeah.
Like, it's just weird that you have that SVC game come out the other day, not on Xbox, and then Mark of the Wolves is going to be released on Xbox. Hard to say exactly why, but no, like it's interesting. Like I would love to check it out. Unfortunately, City of the Wolves has a completely different PR team than King of Fighters 15, so not exactly too sure how I'll be checking that one out before launch, but try to reach out to SNK. Other than that, we've got kind of the big winners from EVO. So I've picked just a few of the overall battles here. So we had Street Fighter 3 Third Strike results. So 5th place went to Frankie BFG, who played as Ken. PGW Hayo played as Hugo. They got 4th. 3rd was Chirithi, who played Chun-Li. 2nd was Issei, who played Yoon. And 1st place was MOV, who played as both Chun-Li, Elena, and Ken. I didn't watch the Street Fighter Third Strike ones too much. I think I saw a few of the fights, but I wasn't really paying attention too much because I was playing a bunch of other games. We had Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. The results there: 5th went to Vermilion, who played as 2B. 4th went to Artorias, who played as Siegfried. 3rd went to Par/Koji Coco, who played as Nier. IBSG took 2nd place as Tororo, who played as Percival and Siegfried. And 1st place went to PIR/Aaron Dynamic, who played as Belial. Tekken 8, we saw 5th place go to Dragons /Rafe, who played as Jin. KDF/Olsen played as Dragonov and Reina. 3rd place went to Yamasa, who played /Nobi, who played as Dragonov. A lot of Dragonovs in this one.
Yeah, there were.
2nd place went to Falcons /Atif, who played as Dragonov and Fang. Fang being Harada's favorite character. And 1st place went to TM/Arslan, who played /Ash, who played as Nina. And the one that we were talking about earlier, which I think was the highlight of EVO by a mile, was the Street Fighter 6 one. 5th place went to Sai Shukan. I think that's right. I could be pronouncing it entirely wrong. /Nemo, who played as M. Bison, Blanca, and JP. Victrix /Momonchi as Ed. We had an Ed off actually. We saw those two guys fight just before. So Mouse/Ending Walker also played as Ed. And then we had NASR / Big Bird, who was playing as Rashid. That was in the final against Fly/Punk, who played as Kami and Akuma. But Punk ended up winning in one of the best Street Fighter 6 bouts I think I've seen in a long time. It was very close. It went right down to the last round, to the last everything. And deeply emotional on stage. It was fantastic.
His first EVO. His first EVO win.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was fantastic. Like, EVO was extremely good. I had a great time watching it. And again, I watched pretty much all of it through Maximum Dude's stream. But,
nice. I don't know who any of these people are, but that's okay. And I congratulate them on their wins, because it does sound like there were some massive moments at EVO this year. As there always are, right? Like, even when you're not a fighting game fan necessarily, or you're not that level of fighting game fan where you're invested in this kind of thing, you'll always see these highlights floating around. If you're on Twitter, we refuse to call it X, as you know, you will always see these highlights and these kind of big moments. And so I always like to hear about it. I always like to see those moments, but it's not necessarily something that I'm going to sit and watch myself, even though I am a fan.
Boo.
Yeah. See, that's why I like watching it through the Maximilian Dude stuff, is because I like watching him as a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And so with his feedback with him and video games and stuff, to me, it just elevated it even more, because their commentary during the Street Fighter 6 fight was fantastic. I would love to see, how Street Fighter 6 has the guest commentators that you could add on there, like having like a Justin Wong and Maximilian Dude combo.
That would be really good.
Would be amazing. Or even just a Video Games where it's like all four members of them.
Yeah.
Would be fantastic to see.
Good.
But no, it was neat even seeing like Maximilian Dude fight Justin Wong and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That was super fun. They were picking like bad teams for Justin to play as against all the members of Video Games, which was really good. But no, it was neat seeing that game kind of up and running and just being kind of what it needs to be. So that should be actually pretty interesting.
And elevating fighting games as a whole.
Yeah,
this
like
venue for EVO was amazing. Holy crap!
And they announced like the next like 3 years of where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. So
they're going to be going to Singapore and Nice.
They said nice, but yeah, I'm not sure the right way to pronunciate that.
It's definitely Nice. I can guarantee you.
Yeah.
It's definitely Nice.
Nice is nice.
So they're growing. They're definitely growing, and it's great, especially for EVO, because EVO, if you guys don't recall, was in a dark place for a little bit due to the former person who ran EVO and the shenanigans and the scandal that he was involved in. So EVO has gotten a lot better, and I'm glad to see it.
Yes.
And it's growing.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Sony's money behind it as well too. So like, like they're still kind of advertising and kind of having some type of relationship with Killer Instinct, which is fantastic because it definitely deserves it. It's a super good fighting game, and it's in a very, very good place right now.
Microsoft needs to get off its ass and do something more with it.
I mean, something's definitely happening with that.
Hey, they've got a developer that is available to make another Killer Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sitting there waiting. Like, who knows what that team is working on? They're not working on their Street Brawler game anymore because that was shut down. And they came back and made like the definitive edition for Killer Instinct. So I mean, they're available.
Yeah.
Microsoft just needs to.
I mean, for that,
right?
Maybe they're not doing it right. Maybe we just haven't heard about it yet.
I don't know. This is again not trying to throw shade or frustrate Xbox fans, but this is Microsoft and Xbox right now, and they've had all the time in the world to do another Killer Instinct, but they haven't.
Yeah, I also think they were in a weird place for a long time, right? Since the last one, and that's part of the problem. I think that they seem to be, as much as people might not like certain things they're doing, they actually seem to be in a much stronger place now
Well,
than where they were back then. And I think maybe the timing is right, you know.
well, the thing with Microsoft is like Maximum Dude was saying is the people that were campaigning for Killer Instinct back when it first came out are no longer with the company. It's the same thing as like Soul Calibur. There's nobody there to champion it.
Yeah, who
So
actually wants to do it, kind of
yeah,
thing. That makes
and
sense.
and like Killer Instinct it's also available free to play where you can get the rotating characters and stuff, or you can just buy it super cheap, or it's available on Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, like there is an audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
People have were losing their shit when they had that final update and they brought out all that stuff because they cleaned it up. The Xbox version became more closer aligned with the PC version, which was far superior.
And the thing is, I think where the frustration comes with the franchise is that for some people, Killer Instinct is one of the best, if not the best, fighting game. Right? I've heard Maximilian Dude say quite a lot of times that he would put it up there among kind of a top 3, top 4 sort of situation. And it's like, so they could have built on it and they could have done a lot more with it. And as you're saying, they just haven't so far.
Well, they lost the original team that made that version. They went on to work for Amazon. They got bought there.
Yeah.
And then they brought in that other team. I can't remember their name right now.
Iron Galaxy?
Iron Galaxy. And then they went on to make that wrestling open city brawler game.
Yeah.
And then they had lost them. So, like, I just don't know if it's just like a lack of momentum for it. But I mean, Iron Galaxy is available. Like, I don't know what they're working on right now because they're not working on Killer Instinct unless there is, something to say, later on.
Unless it's just something we don't know about yet. Yeah, that's the because we do know that the last update from Iron Galaxy was we are coming back in to support Killer Instinct and do the definitive edition or whatever it was they called it, and that was kind of it, right? And we've heard nothing from them since.
You know what they could do to revitalize Killer Instinct? Even wonder what? Put it on PlayStation.
I mean, they could. They
need to. It is a fighting game.
It would inject a lot of people on there, and I mean, the thing about it too is like you've got PlayStation's leadership at a place where they're probably more willing to play ball with a lot of that stuff, especially if they start doing more guest characters, because you've got like I don't think it's Master Chief. I think it's like is it Master Chief that's in it, or is it no? It's
Battletoads.
Yeah, it's no, Master Chief's in one of the Soul Calibur.
What is it?
Games.
I know what you're talking about. It's not.
He was in a Soul Calibur.
It's the Arbiter that's in. It's the Arbiter that's in there. So you've got like some of those characters and stuff. So I mean, like Killer Instinct 2, you could essentially bring in like, characters like you could bring in Master Chief.
Yeah.
You could bring in like some of the other you could bring in like the Doomslayer because they own them as well. So there's a lot of like things that they could essentially do. I think Killer Instinct 2 would do extremely well.
But they definitely need to put it on PlayStation just because it will increase the pool. And one of the bigger issues was I'm gonna let you go. I just have to finish saying one of its biggest issues was the fact that it was exclusive to one console.
Player numbers for that kind of game matter, right?
Exactly.
They really matter.
Exactly.
And I agree with you that actually going multi-platform, which seems to be part of their strategy where they feel it makes sense now anyway, is a good thing.
And I mean, like, you could almost have Killer Instinct Return Home with the Switch 2.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Could put it on there as well too.
That would be interesting, and maybe it would help it become one of the best fighting games. But who knows? And it's almost like I timed my arrival on this episode to come in to have this main topic because I had some things to say. And of course, if you don't know, our main topic is the best fighting games because Keith loves fighting games. Jeff is quite a fan of fighting games as well, and I'm somewhat of a casual fan, but we're also all different ages, so there's maybe some that I haven't played that these guys have played, and so on. But I think it's time to talk about
Sure.
some of our best fighting games, don't you, Jeff? So why don't you start us off here?
Sure. I don't have these. I don't have my three. So it's just basically, just in the interest of time, essentially, just like the top three, probably favorite fighting games, or it can just be three fighting games that you absolutely enjoy. It doesn't have to be like the top tier.
And
whatever.
also let us know yours in the comments, because we'd love to have more of a conversation about it.
Yeah, like no, so not in any particular order. One that was really kind of pivotal to me enjoying fighting games and getting into them like significantly was like Soul Calibur when it released on the Dreamcast. Because like up until that point, you were like, fighting games can look this good? Holy shit! Like it looked amazing on the Dreamcast. And like the previous Soul Calibur games have got better and better and better. But that was such an important one for me because it put that series on the map for me. It was like a pretty much almost like a near perfect like experience. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because actually, if I was to do a top three, Soul Calibur would be in there for me as well, because I had played fighting games previously to that, but something about Soul Calibur felt different, and it just felt unique. And I don't know what it was, because I was quite young when that game came out, because I am a little bit younger than you guys. But I don't know whether it was the characters and their designs or what it was, but something just really grabbed me about it. And for a while, that was actually the only fighting game franchise that I played after that. Like, I had previously played some Street Fighter and things like that. But yeah, Soul Calibur would definitely be on my list as well. So I agree with that one. Keith, what have you got for us? If you were to kind of make a top three, what would one of your top three fighting games be?
Well, top three sucks because it narrows my list, but I'll put Soul Calibur on top just because it has sentimental value to me. My younger brother, who passed away a couple years ago, we used to play that game a lot.
Yeah,
when it came out on the Dreamcast, we played that game nonstop. And he couldn't. He would pick Maxi and Kalik, and he would try to beat me so much, and he just couldn't do it.
Oh
yeah.
And then there'd be times I would use either Siegfried or I call him Ziggy or Taki, and he could not beat me. And there would be times where I would just give up. Like, all right, you win. I beat you, but I let you win.
Yeah, he beat you, Keith. He beat you. That's all that matters.
It's definitely an amazing game. Like I love the other ones that came, but that one was just like it just hit at the right time.
When it came on the Dreamcast, that was the best fighting game at the time.
Am I right in thinking, or am I crazy? Was that first Soul Calibur exclusive to the Dreamcast?
Yeah, until they did the remaster, the HD collection for Xbox 360.
I thought it was. Yeah, what a game. What a game. And if you haven't played it, I would still actually recommend it even today. I imagine it still plays very, very well.
Yeah, I got a physical edition and the Dreamcast all within like 4 feet of me.
I'm going to go next, and I have to bring up, as I kind of mentioned it earlier, Street Fighter 2 is just like any version of Street Fighter 2, really, that you can think of.
Super Street Fighter 2 would be the best one because that added Cammy.
Even the Rainbow Edition? I mean, are you sure about any version of Street Fighter 2?
God, any version. Where do you get canceled there?
I mean, I haven't played them all, but you know what I'm getting at. It was just, I don't know, for me, that was kind of, at the time, and for a long time after that, it felt like the pinnacle of fighting games to me. And that was me in my young brain of like, I can't believe this is even possible. You know, I used to do some things in that game and it was like, wow. Like, I actually felt really skillful even as a much younger, not good player of those games at the time, you know. And I'm not even a good player of fighting games now. I'd only consider myself an average player of fighting games. But I think that there's a generation of people that I am part of where Street Fighter 2 is the game that made them pay attention to fighting games in the first place. You know? and that is, yeah, that's why it has to be on my list, really. That's all I have to say about it. I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
No, Street Fighter 2 was the starting place for a lot of people. Let's just be honest. Street Fighter 2 is the starting place for a lot of people who play fighting games, and the reason why we have so many fighting games today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. And people are still playing it even now, right?
Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. Yeah, they're still playing it. They're still playing it.
I mean, it's almost like they should just redo it and re-release it again on every console.
They did for the Switch.
Oh, did they? Okay.
And a couple other ones. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know they did that.
Because they added Evil Ken. Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Wow,
the final challengers.
Wow.
900 versions of Street Fighter 2.
So Jeff, what else do we have in your top 3 over there?
Did Keith pick?
I did not.
Oh no, because you said Soul Calibur as well, right?
Yeah, because you were just joining in the conversation, but you haven't picked one of yours.
What else would you have then, Keith, on your list?
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not
considered by many to be the best Street Fighter game ever made.
Yeah, I used to go. There was an arcade up the street. I used to go there every day to play that game.
I actually never played this one. So.
What? And it's also on Dreamcast. What?
Yeah, I know. I just missed
Jordan,
it. I just completely.
You know how easy it is to get it on this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Take you 5 minutes.
Maybe I should play it because that's one that I just completely
super technical.
Missed.
The art style was amazing. The music was the fact that they went out and got a rapper to do the music,
mm-hmm.
and it's like
he did a custom piece at EVO this year, didn't he?
Was it him? I don't think it was him.
I'm not sure.
They usually have somebody do something custom for EVO every year. I don't think it was him though. But yeah, it was just at that time. I was like, "What is this? What is this rap and hip hop music doing in Street Fighter?" And it melded so amazingly. It was like, "Wow, this is great stuff."
So what I want to know, Keith, is why is this version of Street Fighter considered to be arguably the best?
Because it's so technical.
Okay.
It's not the easiest to get involved in. It really is not, but it's so technical. The tech throws, the parrying, the super. If you're super technical and you pay attention to what you're doing and you know what you're doing, you can pull out a match even if you're losing. Look at the Justin Wong, Daigo. that will live in infamy forever.
Yes.
People are always trying to recreate that. Somebody
is that the one where he got up and ran and then tripped?
No, that's what Chung Li had him on the ropes, and he blocked every hit with his Ken, and then countered with a super.
Yeah, crazy.
Like blocked every hit. He was done.
Even I know that.
Right.
Even I know that.
Should have been dead, but pulled it out.
What a play.
And that's what makes Street Fighter 3 one of the best fighting games ever, because you can do that.
Fair enough. That's a really strong case for Street Fighter 3 there. So, Jeff, we're back round to you. What else do you have on your list?
Sure. I'll keep my big one for the end here, but for me, like, I haven't played a lot of the Street Fighter games. I played like a good chunk of them, but there's been so many variations of so many variations. I didn't like 5 that much at all. That
I didn't like 5.
Incredibly half-baked, even with the stuff that they added. Street Fighter 6, though, that was, to me, it was just like a complete return to form. Like it plays extremely well. It looks gorgeous. The World Tour mode is an interesting take on how to do like a story mode. I don't think it's amazing, but the the fighting for that game just felt, I think, the best I've felt for Street Fighter. And again, character designs are fantastic. I mean, like my two favorites, Jury and Cammy, are there. I mean, honestly, if Crimson Viper gets announced for season 3, I'll lose my shit. Because that's like my 3 favorite Street Fighter characters.
Yeah.
But no, Street Fighter 6 is just, I absolutely loved it. Even like the modern controls and classic controls, like all that stuff to get people into it, I think is fantastic. And I think the only misstep so far has been the DLC pricing and the fact that costumes are for your avatar character and not for the actual main characters, which is I think a disappointment there. But no, the Street Fighter 6 is just, I absolutely love that game.
Fantastic. Yeah, I played a bit of it. I do really like it as well, and I think it strikes a nice balance between kind of being very accessible to new players or maybe less skilled players. And just even from a disability point of view, something I hear from a lot of my disabled friends is that they find fighting games really difficult to play because of the amount of inputs you have to do to actually be good at the game. But obviously with Street Fighter 6, they have the 2 different control styles, right? So you can make things slightly easier for yourself on an input level, but the way that they balance it between that kind of modern and classic controls, where by doing the modern, you're maybe losing access to a few moves here and there, but moves are easier for you to pull off. It means that someone who is skilled will still have options available to them that you maybe don't have, and it kind of levels that playing field a bit better than most fighting games that I've ever seen do it, really. So I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. And yeah, it's a very, very good game. I think I haven't played the latest Tekken, but of the most recent fighting games from the big franchises that I can think of, it's probably the best one.
Yeah,
in recent times.
Tekken's really, really good. I think the story mode's better than what Street Fighter did for its World Tour.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
Out of the 2 of them, I just like playing Street Fighter a little bit more.
Yeah, that's fair. Since I only have one more left, I'm actually going to go back to Keith first. Keith, what else do you have on your list over there?
I only have one more left as well, and that is Killer Instinct.
The original or the new one?
The original.
The original.
Okay, the original.
I've never played the originals.
No, I don't think I've ever played the original.
I never had a Super Nintendo.
So tell me all about
arcade,
it, Keith.
The original.
Oh, the arcade. Okay.
Not the Super Nintendo one, which was was not on par with the arcade, obvious reasons. The arcade was amazing for its time. The selection of characters, the different characteristics of the characters, the music, the combo breaking, that if you could guess what the person is about to do and get yourself out of that long ass combo, Killer Instinct was amazing back in its time.
That was the one where Orchid could flash you if you had your position just right with the mirror.
And it had some fatalities too, like if you were on the roof stage, you get knocked off the top of the tower.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't understand why she flashed somebody and they die. Like, what was
and this is a quick aside, because one of you might remember this game, but I can't. And this isn't in my top 3, but it's a fighting game that I remember fondly. Back on the PS2, there was like a X-Men fighting game.
Yeah, Mutant Academy.
It might have been, yeah. And it was just like, I just had so much fun playing that game back in the day. I don't know why. It just kind of popped into my head. Maybe it's because I'm seeing Deadpool tomorrow. So I just kind of have X-Men on the mind. But yeah, there's been
nothing wrong with that.
Some interesting kind of tie-in fighting games as well, and using different IPs.
It also could have been Children of the Atom too.
Might have been.
Was it a 3D one or was it a 2D one?
Because
Mutant Academy was 3D.
So I think it was 3D, and from what I can remember, you could like, if you were at the edge of the screen, you could do certain attacks and move between stages. So
He
you
definitely
could
wasn't
like
Children of the Atom then.
so you could like hit them up through the roof of a building, for example, and then you'd be
Okay.
on the next
Yeah, because
stage.
if it was 3D character models, I think it would have been Mutant Academy, unless
Yeah,
there's another one.
I think you're right. I think it might have been Mutant Academy. But yeah, you know, if you know the game I'm talking about, let us know in the comments. I do have one other fighting game I'd like to speak about. And that is a more recent one, but maybe not as recent as some people might expect. Mortal Kombat. And I think I'm going to go for 10 or X, as some people might like to call it.
Oh, so you call it
Twitter.
You call Mortal Kombat
Twitter.
X, but you won't call Twitter X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one's run by someone who's capable at running a company, and the other one's.
And look, I think there's a few Mortal Kombats that could be anywhere in this kind of list and in this discussion, but for me, that was the one that kind of really brought me back to the Mortal Kombat franchise after not playing them for a while, and it just at the time, I think it was the best fighting game that there was. Just I think it was one of the best. So
I definitely liked 11 a little bit better than X, but not by much.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing
and
the
that's
original.
what I mean. I almost said 11 instead of X because I do think both of those are really close. I actually don't hate Mortal Kombat 1 the way that some people do
Yes,
as
you
well.
do. I remember you saying this game sucks. I totally remember you saying that, man.
I think it's fine. I just think it is a misstep for the franchise, essentially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's more than serviceable.
Yeah.
But I remember playing the first one on Genesis, and like this is before the internet and all that kind of stuff. And I remember unlocking, like just stumbling upon myself, like not reading about it or anything, but stumbling upon the secret reptile stage in the 1st one. Because if you timed the double battle just right with the reptile stage, you would fight Reptile Sonya or Reptile Johnny Cage at the bottom. And that was fun.
Nice. So I don't actually remember which the first Mortal Kombat game I played was in terms of the name of the game, but I do know that it was the one that had a character from Soul Calibur in it, I believe, or a character from one of the other fighting games was in. It might have been Yoshimitsu, maybe. Maybe I'm crazy.
I don't remember Yoshimitsu.
Maybe he was he. Which come on! I think it was basically one of the games that had a big crossover character from one of the other fighting games was in it. And that was the first one that I played. But yeah, I love the franchise. I do like Mortal Kombat generally more than Street Fighter. Personally, that's just my taste. My favorite, if I was to talk about it from a franchise perspective, though, where I would end on it, I would actually say that although not every game is great, Tekken as an overall franchise is probably my favorite franchise of fighting games.
Not Dead or Alive?
No.
See, I love Dead or Alive, but their story modes have just been complete dog shit. Like the last one, it was just like a weird chart of all these different timelines that were intersecting, and it was just not great. But
yeah. So Jeff, I believe you're the only one with one left now.
Yeah, my last one is one I'm going to be able to replay at some point this year on my Switch on my breaks, and that is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 collection, or the collection that's going to be coming out. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is probably one of my favorite fighting games. I've played so much of that game. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I've talked about it earlier on the podcast and stuff like that. But that is definitely one of my favorite fighting games. Like Marvel
I think it's a lot of people's favorite, right?
I mean, it didn't start that way. That game was hated when it first came out. But
yeah, well, there we have it. And now I think to end the episode, we have a little bit of time left here. We should talk probably about some things we've been playing because, Jeff, I know you've been playing a few things. So why don't we start with you here?
Yeah, so I've beaten the Norea, the Gold Project.
Which is the game you spoke about last time, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania. Again, like I think it gets a lot better once you start getting that dash. It takes it's most Metroidvanias have kind of an organic path about how you go about exploring certain things. It gives you freedom, but it generally pushes you in certain ways where you'll get the abilities to then open up certain things. I explored half that damn map and couldn't find the dash, and then eventually stumbled upon it. But like it's got some control issues in terms of like the wall jumping and that kind of stuff, and it doesn't really have like a dodge. It doesn't have a block. It doesn't have a parry. So combat is more of a hit, and then like jump away type of thing. So I think there's some things that they can improve on a sequel, because it definitely kind of sets it up to a certain extent depending on how you get which ending you get. But no, it is solid. It is super fun to play. But yeah, like you get lost very easily until you find that dash, which opens up a tremendous amount of the map, and then you get like a ranged melee attack, where it's kind of like Zelda's, or like Link swinging the sword and then like the blast going from it. It's like that, and you can point it up and you can point it to the side, and you hit switches which do certain things. And if you find the two pieces of the hammer, you can craft them, and then when you go into the final battle, it unlocks the true ending of the game. Because the when you don't do that, you get a very particular ending, and it's definitely not the true ending. But no, it is a solid game. I mean, the team had reached out, saw that I reviewed Blasphemous 2.
Yes.
And gave me a code for it. It runs great on Steam Deck, except for the giant worm fight. And that thing runs at like 5 frames per second. So I put it down to the lowest graphical settings. And that fight, much like the video I was watching on how to defeat it, it glitched for him, and it glitched exactly in the same spot for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he's just sitting there, and I'm like, / dead. I'm like, you fuck bastard. Like, just get away. Because that fight was garbage. Like, you get hit once and you're dead. Fair. And then you got to watch the whole opening thing, the cutscenes and stuff again. But it is like, if you like Metroidvania games, and you don't mind getting lost in their worlds and stuff like that, it's neat because like you have two gods, and then basically you pick your favor with them, and then that determines how high up the skill trees go. So if you only want one god, you can go up higher or lower, and then basically you'll get the abilities that they grant, and then you would fight them at the end and stuff. But no, it's very, very good.
Good. I'm glad. Well, we will have a full review of that on the site at some point, I imagine, if it's not there already by the time you're seeing this episode. And it probably will. Yeah, it will be up. It will be up on the site, so I'll link it below in the YouTube description. So look for that, obviously, because we will have another sort of special episode this week as well. So make sure you're subscribed and all that kind of stuff. But I want to hear about another game you've been playing, Jeff. But I want you to be as spoiler-free as possible, because this is a game that I know Keith wants to play but currently isn't playing. And that is Flintlock. I haven't played it either. So
Keith, you haven't played it at all?
I played a little bit. I'm waiting for them to fix the performance issues on the PC version of the game. Yeah, that stuttering, that's got to get fixed. I heard them saying that it may have gotten a little better with the recent NVIDIA driver that dropped on the 16th, but I want the developer to actually address some issues.
Yeah, like I disabled the HDR on Xbox because the game was pretty much unplayable with it.
Because of the menus, right? The menus.
It was incredibly dark in the gameplay. You couldn't fix it because like basically the gamma was only changing the black levels and stuff. So when you go into the menus, it looked like absolute, like just garbage. It was so washed out. Like people were complaining about like the opening level, you just couldn't even see anything. And with disabling HDR, it made it a lot easier. Like I'm going to be working on the review the next couple of days. Like once I get Norea done, I'll be jumping on the review for that. So I'm currently playing another game that's under embargo. So the review should be out hopefully by Sunday. Yeah, like right now I'm probably sitting in the same boat as a lot of other reviewers right now, is probably around a 7.
Okay.
It's nowhere near as good as I was hoping it would be. And it sucks because it has all the building blocks of the things that I love, like fun third-person combat, the exploration and like kind of traversal abilities and stuff. Like, I know a lot of people were comparing it to Forspoken, but I don't think that's really kind of fair. It does have like, your jump and dash type of things and stuff where you can kind of get around a little bit easier, but it doesn't really capitalize on those things. Combat feels very one note in regards to like you have your slashes. Cool.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
you like
Okay.
it. I don't know. Like there's it does that thing where like if you're in the middle of certain attack animations, you can't dodge out of those.
Oh, okay. That's rough. I struggle when a game does that, where it doesn't give you the ability to cancel an animation, I guess, by
Yeah.
activating another animation,
Like
especially when it's a combat heavy game like this seems to be.
yeah, like
That's a problem.
it's kind of close in regards to it, but it's not as responsive as you kind of want it to be. Like you don't notice it too much when you're fighting certain enemies and stuff, but it's got this like the last fight you'll notice it so much.
Okay.
Like it's got this system that's similar to something like Devil May Cry, where the more you attack without getting hit, you have like a score multiplier that kind of goes up.
Yeah.
And what this does is it the currency you'll earn essentially from battling that helps you buy outfits and all that kind of stuff, that gets a times multiplier until you get hit. And so if you want to bank times 32, you can hold left on the D-pad and bank it, or you can chance it with the fight. But the problem with not being able to break out of certain combat animations to dodge and do all sorts of things is you feel you're taking unnecessary hits. And when the system is built around not taking hits and the combat system doesn't reflect the ability to really do that from an agency type of level, that's where I kind of get frustrated with it. But and like you will find costume pieces and stuff. There's some cool masks and gloves and stuff like that. I think all the jackets are 100% boring. It's basically just like the Black Commander jackets, and they're like, okay, this one has like stitching down here. This one has like some gold trim there. Like the outfits don't look that great, and you will find like I got this like skull helmet that looked kind of neat. And you can get like set bonuses, but it's generally just like 2 pieces. It's not like all 3. You get different elemental attacks and stuff for Anki, the little like fox guy that's with you. But no, I think the story, and like again, I'm not going to talk about story specifics, but I will say that there's a couple things that they kind of like talk about, whether it's like reveals or events or backstories or things like that, where certain things will happen and then certain characters will have reactions to those things, and then they'll travel from one area to the next, which takes about like a week or 2 weeks, and you will have heard about them like kind of like making peace with certain things, but you never get those conversations.
So
Like
it's
it never.
almost like parts of the story are cut out, kind of thing.
Yeah, because like from the first area to the next area, they're like, oh, it'll take about 2 weeks, and then you're dealing with the baggage of certain things that have happened, and then all of a sudden they're like, I still haven't blah 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 about what you said, and yeah, like it has these little moments, and then it tries to like fit in the explanations about how they were able to like move past the things, certain things, and like that I don't think is well handled. I just felt like the story was not terribly great. Like, I think like I'm with how certain things kind of wrap up, I'm super excited to see how and if they'll do a sequel, like if this game performs well, because like I would love to see where it kind of goes from there. Because I think there's like a good foundation. I think it's one of those things where it's like it reminds me of Darksiders, where like the first game was great, it was fun, it was built from the inspirations of so many other games. Like it didn't feel like it was really terribly original because it was just it was a collection of a whole bunch of greatest hits of other certain games. And then when they brought out the second one, they improved upon certain things of it. And that's what I want to see for like Flintlock, is if they make a sequel, I want a more fleshed out combat system. Because you only get like the one sword. Like you can get different things. You do get some different weapons, but they don't dramatically change it as much as I would hope for. Because like, even like, for example, you can't weapon change in the middle of a combo. You have to literally be standing still to then press the right button to like switch to another weapon. You can't like hack, switch. Like you can't do that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but
that was
you
my
can
frustration
switch
with the system as well. It needs to be
You
more
can-
tuned.
You can switch guns in the middle of combo,
Oh,
but
that's
not
weird
swords.
then. That's
No,
weird.
you literally have to almost be standing still to change the weapon.
Oh, how strange.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of little like, again, a lot of this is like things that could be fixed with like quality of life updates.
Yeah. It does, for me, it sounds almost like exactly what you're saying, where they've got this solid foundation of what they clearly wanted to do, and then it needs to kind of smooth out those rough edges and just kind of tune up a few things, add a couple of things here and there. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because I haven't played it yet, but
yeah,
I can tell that it's fallen short of your expectations, and I'm kind of glad I've heard that in a way, because I also had some higher expectations for it, and now hopefully when I do eventually get around to it, I will kind of have my expectations in the right place, and then it might fall a little bit better for me, if that makes sense.
yeah. Like it's again like it. I think it's fine. I think it's extremely fine. I think it's more than serviceable. I think it's got some interesting things. I don't think they do terribly much with like her story. Like Enki gets a lot of stuff just to flesh him out and that kind of stuff, which is, kind of what you want. Like supporting characters generally get the shaft when it has to do with like a lot of certain things. But no, like it's you get a couple areas to explore, like full big maps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like the shortcuts are, I think, a little weird because like you'll be up at atop of certain areas in like a Souls game, and then it'll unlock areas for you to go back down. But this just kind of puts these like teleport nodes all over where you can like fly through them and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
And like
okay.
the shortcuts kind of feel, I don't know, shortcuts, in a lot of ways. The flying stuff's neat. Like that kind of stuff is neat. I mean, like we did similar kind of stuff in Forspoken.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it feels like the level design gets a little lazy in that way, where they're like, okay, we don't know how to get them from here to here, so we're just going to put a teleport or like a flying thing there.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's almost like it's almost like, and I don't want this to sound bad, but the way of putting it is it's almost like they're cutting corners, and maybe that was down to a budgetary thing
I don't know,
or something like that. But what I would say is, if you want to hear more about Flintlock, you can obviously head over to the website and read Jeff's full review, which by the time you're seeing this episode, which will be early next week at our time of recording, that review should also be on the website, so you can and check that one out as well. But we have about 10 minutes left here. So Keith, I want to ask you, have you been playing anything recently that you can talk about?
Well, I've been playing Elden Ring with this one guy who, has been around for a while.
Which guy is that? Which guy is that again?
I don't know. Some guy. I don't know his name. I actually was playing a little bit of Flintlock. Like I mentioned, I want them to fix some things, so I stopped playing it. I am also playing another game, which is under embargo, so I can't say which game it is, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, you had a preview that dropped a little bit ago, right? That you played something?
Ascendant.
Yeah.
Ascendant is upcoming capture the flag mode, first person shooter. Has a lot of personality, a lot of charm. Gunplay is fun. The developers really have a decent vision for what they want to do with the game, and they wanted to make it fun, engaging, and not another hero shooter, which I'm happy to see. I have a whole preview about the game over the Outerhaven. Definitely read that. There's a lot about that game that's happening. There's a beta happening August 3rd to August 4th for PC. I think people just need to play that game to get a good understanding of what it is. Me just saying, hey, this is what it is. This is one of the kind of games you actually need to get your hands on and play. It's a lot of fun.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Keith has a habit of making his friends PC gamers, don't you, Keith?
No, I'm just showing you the door. It's up to you to walk through the door.
I feel like you pushed me quite strongly through that door.
Nope.
And then there was another door called Elden Ring behind it. You just like barreled me through that one as well.
Totally wasn't me, bro. Wasn't me.
So yes, I'm still playing more Elden Ring here and there. I'm kind of playing a few other things as well. I've been trying to get some codes to review a few things, but getting codes is difficult at the moment for some reason.
Yeah, it's been difficult recently, the last few months. The landscape is changing. I'll say that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we'll be trying to cover as many games as possible, both on Analog Stick Gaming and when I write for Outerhaven as well. I will be, covering as much as I can there. I actually put up some news recently. Apparently, it was really, really long.
Very, very long. It was like, wow, he's doing a novel here, which is not bad. It's just like, wow, that was a lot from.
And that is obviously Madden NFL 25 recently had a kind of gameplay deep dive dev diary type thing. And what I've done is written up all the details of what they spoke about in that, which you can kind of go and just get all the information in one place with the video as well if you want to watch it, because some people prefer to just watch. Obviously, some people like to read, but please head over to Outerhaven and read that bit of news, because I've become the sports guy over there now.
And we didn't push him; he did it himself. So,
and that
he jumped on that grenade.
That one I did do myself.
See,
yeah, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But yeah, back to more Elden Ring. I have to celebrate because I beat some boss that was annoying me, like just randomly one day. Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, some big golden ghost guy in the capital that I can't remember the name of right now. And he was killing me routinely in like 1 or 2 hits, and then over the kind of previous week, I leveled up maybe another 5 to 6 levels, and I was like, oh, I'm going to give this another try, because as you'll remember, me and Keith were having a lot of co-op issues, so Keith decided to restart his game. So I now have to help him beat that guy unless he's done it already.
I've already done it.
Nice, okay. And yeah, I was like, okay, while I wait for Keith to do this, I'm going to go and try this guy again. And no joke, I went in there, I summoned my little, I don't know, ghost spirit guy that Keith helped me to get. Yeah. And he just kind of took a few hits, which allowed me to get some space and get my head together. And I've never felt so relaxed in a boss fight in my life. And it was so weird, because Keith will tell you the first few times that I fought this guy, I was just panicking.
Yeah,
like you could see it in the way that I was.
Much.
You could see it.
I'm like, calm down, you got this. And he's like, oh, like, all right, I'm gonna die. And then he died.
Yeah, and then I just beat him on the first attempt. It was great. I'm still loving the game. Keith showed me some weird shortcut, because when we were trying to get back to help him, because the way the co-op works is probably the worst implementation of co-op in any video game ever.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And I'm gonna write about that soon on Outerhaven, I think, because it has been really frustrating me. But yeah, we were going through this, I don't know, shortcut thing, and then I ended up fighting some weird sort of thing in there that's kind of like a dragon. Don't really know what he was. Killed him, went out the door, start riding on Torrent, just like, oh yeah, I'm on my merry way. And then some white dragon just flies down on top of me. And I'm like, nope. And I
Dragon's like, I'm going to wreck your day. Let's go.
carry on going down the road. So yes, I've been very much enjoying that. I'll be playing more of it. Hopefully, I did try to fight Radan like twice, and he just decided, no, you're not ready for this yet. Die.
I'll just
You
just
can't beat that
like,
dragon, by the way. So
just
it's
invite.
just worth riding past it.
Okay.
Did you invite anybody for Radon?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, just invite like 2 people and just keep making sure that you like, just
He
like
doesn't
roll.
want me to.
Just,
He's like, no.
oh, just like keep rolling out of the way until they can get to him.
I mean, Keith, you could have done it for me by now, right?
I could have, but on this is the part of the podcast I'm going to say, sorry guys, I got to dip out on you. I have another call coming up very
That's
very
fine.
shortly.
We can end it right here.
We can end here. Yeah, that's all I've been playing
Yeah,
anyway.
pretty much good.
So this is a great episode of the show. Sorry I was late. Please remember to subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. All the links you need are below. Make sure you follow Keith in the Outerhaven, and we will see you next time. But goodbye.
Yeah.